Hi guys. So today is June 9th, which marks 11 years since I was in the car accident and sustained a complete C6, C7 spinal cord injury. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for a video on 11 things I am proud of and 11 things I have learned in these last years, and they kind of coincide together. So thank you guys so much for watching, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And here we go. So taking it way back to the beginning, I am proud of myself for getting through those stages of grief, because when you have something like a spinal cord injury happen to you and you lose what you knew as normal life, there is the stages of grief is going to happen. And I finally, at some point, I'm not sure exactly when it happened, but got to the point of acceptance, and I was allowing myself to be okay with this new life. And through that process, I learned patience, and patience is very necessary, in my opinion, when living with this injury, and so much is out of your control that you just need patience to get by. Next would be getting out of the hospital and being sent home 2 days before Christmas, because they thought I would have to be there longer, and I was determined to be home for Christmas, and I worked hard and made it happen, and that's something I am still proud of. And I learned through those 6 months and knew even more so how grateful and lucky I was to have the support system that I had and still do have: my parents and my sister, the rest of my family, and my dearest friend. Then about 1 month after being discharged, I returned to high school to finish grade 12 and graduate with my class that I had gone to school with since kindergarten, and that is something I was very proud of. And through that process and through other things in life, you just learn who is a genuine friend and person and will be there. And then I applied and went to college for my education assistant program, which I took part-time, but I still got it done, which I was super pumped about. And through that process, I learned that you learn how to adapt. And there were times that I didn't want to be treated differently and wanted to do all the same projects and everything all the other girls in the class were doing, and you learn to adapt, and I got it done. Next, I'm proud of putting myself out there on YouTube and telling my story. I think my story video that I first put out explaining my injury and how I was dealing with it has over 95,000 views now, which is crazy, but it's really cool that people everywhere can learn from my experience. And also from that, I've learned that I am more than my injury. Even though my channel is based around my injury, it shows that I'm more than that and what is still possible and things that you can still do. Next is that I've tried out a lot of adapted sports and activities. So I've done sit skiing, wheelchair rugby, wheelchair rock climbing, adapted sailing, I think a few other things. And if I learned something from that, it's that you should try anything once, maybe even twice, and just see if you like it. And also from that, to be grateful for what your body can still do. Even though I am very limited. I have fairly strong arms and I'm very... Next, I'm proud of growing personally to a place that I love myself again, because there was points early on in my injury that I did not. And I remember about a year into my injury is when I met Randy and we started to date, and I was very closed off because how could I let somebody else into care and love for me when I didn't have that for myself? So I'm very proud to now have that, and that's something that I've learned, is that you can learn to love yourself again with an injury, because you still are you. It's just your body is a little bit different. I am proud of the wheel friend gang that I have made here in Calgary. I have 3 close girlfriends that all have spinal cord injuries, and it's so important to have those people in your life who just know what you're going through. And I met Brandis and Casey when I was first injured, and then I met Lorinda as a roommate in the hospital. We were injured about 2 months apart and became so close as roommates, and she's actually in my bridal party, and we have been talking about doing a separate video together, so that could be fun. So that's something I learned very early on, that it is so important to have that connection with people who will fully understand you. And just a couple years ago is when I started to volunteer on the spinal rehab unit, talking with newly injured people and letting them know what is still possible. The hospital can be a very grim and scary place when you have a new injury and you don't know what life outside of there is going to look like. So when I met Brandis and Casey, they kind of told me like it's okay and things do get better after the hospital. So I now know that after all these years, and it's been really nice to share my life experience with all these other. I'm proud that I was able to accept what I know I can't change. I can't change any physical damage from my injury. So knowing what my limitations are as a C6-7 quad with limited hand function and poor balance, and learning that it's okay to ask and accept help to get through this. Lastly, I am proud of finding and renovating this house to work for exactly what we want, and we love it so much, and I'm super proud of it. And through that experience, I learned that we as wheelchair users need to use our voice to demand places be more accessible, and that there's really no excuse for it anymore. So that definitely is something I've learned and dealt with over the last 11 years. So that was my list of things that I'm proud of and have learned over the last 11 years. I'm sure I could come up with so many other life lessons that I've encountered, but if you guys have an injury, please leave any life lessons that you have learned in the comments, or if you are able-bodied and have maybe learned something, leave that in the comments. And once more, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.